Okay, how to trim. So we're trying to go from this to this. If we look at these, this has thickness issues, and you can see it in the handout in the bottom right picture. Put it with me. Good? Nice. So the first thing I need to do is look at the shape. Look with your eyes. Feel it with your hands. Is it a constant curve? If it is, it's going to be much easier to trim than if it's not. If it's not a constant curve, I wouldn't even attempt to trim it yet. It's not, or constant curves are great shapes to learn to trim on. If it's not a constant curve, you're just going to frustrate yourself in the beginning. Also be aware, don't be in love with the first piece that you're going to trim because you will likely kill it. Okay? And don't cry when you do. So I'm looking because I need to memorize this shape. The goal of trimming is to make the inside shape on the outside, make the outside shape match the inside shape so we have even thickness. So the bowl turned inside out as a dome, right? So I'm looking again and I'm also going to feel. So I'm taking two fingers, I'm sliding down the wall until I feel my fingers start to separate. So I can tell where the clay starts to get thicker, where the walls get thicker. I'm marking with my fingernail. That's also where that line happens to be. You can also look at the profile here and see it's curving constantly in a trajectory that you can imagine meeting back up with this lip. Although in here we have some stuff that needs to be changed. It needs to be domified. Is that a word? Domified? To make dome-like? First I need to get it back on the wheel and I need to get it centered. So right now I'm my hands out in a W like this. Hand builders, I need you to work as quietly as possible. Thank you. Or hold my fingers out. I can even hold the needle tool out. The needle tool works for people that are having a hard time with their hands. So the needle tool is bumping the clay and it's marking it. I can stop the wheel. I can mark the beginning of that mark and the end of that mark. Now where on that line is the clay furthest away from the middle of the wheel? Where? On this line, where on that line is the clay furthest away from the dead center of the wheel? The middle, the midpoint, right? It's geometry. So that's the point where I want to push it towards the middle, right? Because that's where it's furthest out. So I want to push it in. So it is closer. By the way, when it's perfectly centered, you do that needle tool trick. Will the line be longer or shorter? It'll be continuous if it's perfect, right? Right now I'm trying to time the bump. It's coming around bumping my fingers. Ready? Bump, 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 and I'm stopping it right there and I'm going to just push it. So you don't have to use the needle tool if you can get the timing with stopping the wheel. Good. Are they being loud?
Yes.
Let's do a big collective. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So it's a bunch of trial and error stuff. Okay. And if there is a wobble, make sure the lip can be wobbly down here, but get this part centered. That's the part you're going to trim. And I think I'm ready to trim it. So take some fresh clay. You don't want it to be too wet. You don't want it to be sticky. And roll some lugs. And lug your bowl down. So I'm holding the bowl still so it doesn't move. And I prefer 3. 3 is, in my opinion, better. 2 is not enough. So it's pretty much centered. Now what I'm going to do is start removing clay. And the beginning is the hardest part because it's all lumpy and bumpy and irregular. And the tops of these bumps are going to come around and hit the tool and they're going to tug on the tool. I need to keep the tool from moving. So I'm going to go in as lightly as possible and just shave the tops of those irregularities off. See how it's trying to move the tool? Once you get that first layer of irregularities out, it actually gets pretty easy. So at this point, I'm trying to trim off enough to even out the shape. To continue the curve through this section where it's straightened out. You guys see what's happening here? And if you need to, lower your head and look at the curve, and you're just trying to make the curves match. I also need to decide, well, how wide do I want that foot? There's two things you consider. How well is it going to function? Make it real skinny, it might look really elegant and light, but it's also going to be really delicate and hard to balance. A real stable foot might be super functional, but it might look a little clunky. Can I go any further? You should not be trimming all the way down to the lips. If you need to trim all the way down to the lips to achieve equal thickness, you need to practice your throwing. Okay, so this is pretty much, I think, where I want it. So I'm going to take the large loop tool and just clean up the marks that were left by the small one. I really do most of the work with the small tool and just use this for cleanup. Okay, now I need to trim out the inside. So I'm going to leave behind the foot ring. I'm going to trim out the stuff inside there. I'm going to take the flat end. I was using the round end on the outside. Now I'm going to take the flat end and use the corner. I hold it like a pencil, grab the eraser, elbows on my legs, and super steady just with the corner. Again, really shallow in the beginning. See these thin little ribbons of clay coming off? That's what you want. Okay, I can feel it rattling a little bit. Something's coming loose. I'm going to stop and make sure these lugs are on there. Okay, so right now it's a flat line. If this shape is going to match up with this shape, instead of a flat line, what should I have here? Curve. Curve. What kind of a curve? How would you describe that curve? A dome, right? And so, if it's a dome, this is going to be the highest and that's going to be the lowest, so I know I'm going to start trimming deeper on the outer part as I get closer to the foot. The next question is, how do I know when to stop? It's really easy to tell when you've gone too far. Do you know how? Yeah, when you see no more clay, you've gone through and you have a bowl. Do I need to go deeper or am I there? Or did I go too far?
Deeper.
Go deeper, go backwards, stay where you're at. You're right, let's go deeper. It's very hard to tell because this is so thick right now, and by the way, I want this to be the same thickness as the walls. So I'm going to trim that outward from the inside a little bit.
Looks so weird.
Looking good. Okay, so again, I'm looking at this line, meeting up with this line, and back up over here. And I'm just about there. A little bit of a point here I'm going to round out. All that about right. I'm going to do a little bit of shaping to this. I wonder what it would look like if it had some roundness. What do you guys think? Did I just get somebody? So I'm just using the tool to shape the foot, and this is design stuff. What looks good? Last little cleanup here, and I'll be done. Okay. Get the depth right. See how this matches up here? So it should be like if you took the foot ring off, it should match up. I chose to go with a rounded foot because it's a rounded bowl. No, do you think it looks all right? Yeah. How about the width? Is it proportionate, like it's in a good spot? Okay, so that's, you're going to have to use a little bit of visual judgment when you're figuring out, should the foot angle out, should it angle in, should it be rounded, should it be straight? Okay, go try it.